Well, it's been a bit, hasn't it? Yeah, so I kind of stopped making these videos for a while, but don't worry about it. That's irrelevant. Today is September 25th, 2025, and we're going to be talking about Sonic Racing Crossworlds, which just came out today. It's what I would have said about a month ago.
So it may or may not be 2026 and start of January now, as at this point in time. Uh, so
Yeah, I've been procrastinating on this too, but now it's a 1 month later review instead of a day of review, because that's so much better. I mean, I've had time to think about my opinions on this game, so they should be very nuanced. They will not be. Alright, let's start off with all of the various things about this game that are different from past Sonic racing games. Let's talk about the first way in which this game differs from past Sonic racing games and just mascot racing games in general. This game feels really, really fast, and that feels great. It feels like you're moving at blistering speed as you go around those corners and just zoom through the stage. Of course, this comes with some issues. There are some problems with controlling the vehicle, although that might just be a skill issue on my part. In general, it just feels really great to just zoom around. This contrasts significantly with Mario Kart World, which is this game's primary competitor. Mario Kart World as a game does not feel super fast. It feels more like you're kind of just putting along in a golf cart. You're kind of just going for shortcuts and trying to go faster that way, instead of the Sonic Racing Crossworlds way, which is just kind of zooming through. And I mean, there are a few shortcuts. You can use them. You don't have to, though. You're still going really fast, and it feels a lot faster. And playing these games, comparing them, it just feels really quick to play Sonic Racing Crossworlds. This is different from Sonic Racing Crossworlds' way of just going fast. You gotta go fast, as they say. And that brings me to the aspect that really drives this difference, which is these games have always been like this. Sonic has always been the game about sheer speed and just running straight through a level, while Mario has always been the game about pinpoint platforming and just slowly going through, and it's great to see how these games are different in the same way. That's great, and it develops their identity. Which brings me to my next topic. Let's talk about the second major difference of this game, which is its identity. This game feels like it really has an identity of its own. And there are lots of facets to that. One such thing is the aforementioned aspect of speed, which does help to make this game feel different. But another way that all mascot racing games make themselves feel different is the characters. And this game does have a wide variety of characters. Of course, it naturally has most of the Sonic cast as a result of being a Sonic game. That is something one would expect. But this game has a lot of third-party characters, such as Mega Man and Hatsune Miku and Steve. And these characters come from all over. As of right now, there are going to be 12 characters that are Sega properties that are going to be released as free DLC that do not cost any additional money. These include the likes of Hatsune Miku and Joker, because they are both Sega properties. There are also paid DLC characters that include their own tracks in the DLC packs, which does include one track in each pack. And these tracks are pretty good. So far, the released DLCs that have come out, that have been paid, is just Steve. It is Steve, Minecraft, and Alex, and Creeper. And those are all the paid DLCs that are out thus far.
okay, so this was also recorded a while ago. Now the SpongeBob DLC is also out, but I'm rushing to put this out, and yeah, because I just need to get this done. And so, yay. Maybe I'll make something about that later. But yeah, it's not just Minecraft DLC anymore. I really should have gotten this done earlier.
Their map is out, and right now is some footage of me playing on it. You can mix and match carts. The cart that comes with this pack is the minecart, naturally. And the characters, as I mentioned before, are Steve, Alex, and Creeper. This map, for the pack, goes through the three major dimensions of Minecraft. Specifically, you start off in the overworld, then you go to the nether, then you go to the overworld again, and then you finally end the last lap in the end. Or rather, you go through the end and then come back out into the overworld to end it. But the point is, you go through all those dimensions. Many other characters have been announced as DLC than just Steve. There has also been Pac-Man characters announced, Mega Man characters announced, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, SpongeBob SquarePants, Avatar characters. It's all over the place, and that's awesome. It creates a unique cast of characters. And wait a minute, this unique crossover cast of characters, this sounds familiar. Oh wait, this is one of the big appeals of a game I personally love a lot, Super Smash Bros. That game has a lot of characters, and it in fact shares several. Specifically, Joker, Steve, Pac-Man, Mega Man, those are all in there, and they're all in here now. And this is kind of Sega's way of doing a big crossover without stepping on Smash Bros. Toes, because those toes are, frankly, way too big to step on, and this is a very weird analogy, but here we are. I like this crossover aspect. There is the major issue of all the crossover characters, except for Miku, do not have voice lines. They do not have voice lines. The extent of a voice line for the Minecraft characters is just sound effects from the games, like a skeleton noise and an arrow being shot, and that's kind of sucky. That's not great. I mean, obviously they couldn't do great voices for Steve unless they decided to do Jack Black, which would have been really funny, but alas, here we are. The real problem arises with characters like SpongeBob, where it's like, come on, you're not going to do a voice for that? Seriously? This is an issue that a lot of people are complaining about, and rightfully so. They've said it's just because it's hard to communicate with the original voice actors for these characters, and that's fair, but also, isn't that part of your due diligence for making things you're expecting people to pay for? I don't know, it's a little weird. There's nuance to it, but ultimately I think they should have just added the voices in. But here we are, it's too late to change that. Now, I did mention that Miku is the exception to that, and that is because Miku, you don't need to find a voice actor. Miku is a voice data bank. That's how Vocaloids work. So all they have to do is just use the data bank that Miku is. So that's one where they could easily get a voice for it, and they did, because they could, and there's no harm in it, so why not? I think it's good they did that. It would have been really dumb if they hadn't, but it's still kind of stupid that they didn't do that for the other characters. The biggest thing about this game that really makes me love it is the customization. I love being able to customize my character in a game. I remember when I made my build for Elden Ring, and I researched all the different items I needed in order to make my blood build that weighed like nothing, because I wore no armor. I had the rock heart, and that's, anyways, tangent. The point is, I made a special build, and I thought through it, I figured it out, and that felt great. This game has builds that you can set up all on your own, and that is done through the gadget system. How do the gadgets work? Well, you have 6 slots for gadgets. You have to unlock them by playing the game. And in those slots, you can put in gadgets that take up a certain number of slots. So, for instance, they can go from 1 to 3. There are 2 rows of slots. So, what this allows you to do is you can equip anywhere from 2 to 6 gadgets. What these gadgets allow you to do is they do several different effects. For instance, one gadget might make it so that you charge your drift faster, while the other might make it so that you get boost items more often. There are so many different gadgets, and there's so many different ways to build your character. I built several builds over the time playing this. For instance, a power build that was based around hitting people and getting coins and speeding up. A speed build that was based around just getting as many coins as possible, up to like 200, and getting a speed boost every time I got coins. And a boost build where I was focused on getting the highest level of drift possible and just zooming around these corners. All of those builds worked passably. Of course, some are better than others, but they're all good enough to play with. And that's what's awesome about this game, is just the customization is great. I love customizing in games, and it's great to see that in a racing game. You don't really see it that often. Mario Kart World just lets you choose one kart option and a character, and that's about it for customization there. And that's kind of pointless. This game, of course, has the classic 3-part kart setup, which is different from Mario Kart World, but I'll stop complaining about that. The setup for your karts does matter. It changes your stats around, but ultimately the biggest thing that decides how well your character performs is your specific gadgets. A nice thing about this game that's fun to know is just it does actually tell you the stats of the characters. Why is that not a thing in Mario Kart? Why? There's no reason. It should be there. I don't know why it's not. That's always been a pet peeve of mine. I don't know why I'm so irrationally angry about it, but here we are. A little fun mechanic to know if you decide to play this game is you can do a counter drift. So you can drift, and then you let go of drift briefly, and then you press drift in the other direction, and if you do it right, you'll keep your drift charge for the most part. It'll go down a tiny bit, but not much, and you'll be able to turn the other way. This is great for going around kind of windy sections, and it puts a little more strategy into your drifting. Finally, I'll talk about my gripes with this game. Besides the aforementioned issue with the DLC characters not having voices, there is the issue of water is really annoying to navigate in this game. It's super annoying because it makes you, instead of drifting, which you're used to, you just charge up a jump, which is similar to Mario Kart World, but you charge a jump, and that's all well and good. It's an interesting way to mix it up. The problem is, some of those corners are sharp, and maybe I just suck, but it's hard to make it around those corners without drifting. So, that's an issue. But that's really it. Besides the other problem of the characters not having voices, really, those are my two problems. Except for the price. It's $70. And the price for the 6 DLC packs together is $30 more. And the price for each DLC pack individually is $6. So to get the DLC packs and the base game, if you didn't get the deluxe edition, is $100 all told. Just straight off the bat. That's a lot of money for a game. I know all games are getting more expensive now, but that's kind of a punch in the gut. So take that into account. Do I think you should buy this game? If you have the money, sure. If you think it'll sound great for you, awesome. Go ahead, it's a great game. If you don't, I totally understand. It is expensive. If you're going to buy this, the platforms you should probably buy it on is, at least right now, pretty much everything but Switch. Because there's currently not a Switch 2 edition, and they both run at like 30 FPS and are incredibly grainy and hard to see. So I would not recommend buying it on Switch. I did test that out during the Open Network test, and it was not good. I almost didn't buy it because of that, but luckily I tried it on PC. I personally prefer PC, but also Xbox and PlayStation are great options. Just don't buy it on Switch right now. They're currently making a Switch 2 edition, but still, I would say just go for any of the other options. But if really your only option is Switch, I understand. Good luck. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.